Hi Lucien and Orson. I've got some more poems for you. I hope you're keeping warm on this cold wintry day. I've got 4 poems today and I've gathered them into a section I'm calling Naughtiness. The first one's called Kenneth, who was too fond of bubblegum and met an untimely end. It's written by Wendy Cope. The chief defect of Kenneth Plum was chewing too much bubblegum. He chewed away with all his might, morning, evening, noon and night, even, it makes you weep, blowing bubbles in his sleep. He simply couldn't get enough. His face was covered with the stuff. As for his teeth, what a sight! It was a wonder he could bite. His loving mother and his dad both remonstrated with the lad. Ken repaid them for the trouble by blowing yet another bubble. It was no joke, it isn't funny, spending all your pocket money on the day's supply of gum. Sometimes Kenny felt quite glum. As he grew, so did his need. There seemed no limit to his greed. At 10, he often put away 97 packs a day. Then, at last, he went too far, sitting in his father's car, stuffing gum without a pause, found that he had jammed his jaws. He nudged his dad and pointed to the mouthful that he couldn't chew. Ken shook his head. He couldn't do it. Before long, he began to groan. The gum was solid as a stone. Dad took him to a builder's yard. They couldn't help. It was too hard. They called a doctor, and he said, "This silly boy will soon be dead. His mouth's so full of bubble gum, no nourishment can reach his tongue." Remember, Ken, and please do not go buying too much, you know what. The next poem is called The Cruel Naughty Boy. There's a picture associated with it. Strange, I can't see a boy there. I wonder why. The Cruel Naughty Boy by William Cole. There was a cruel naughty boy who sat upon the shore, a-catching little fishes by the dozen and the score. And as they squirmed and wriggled there, he shouted loud with glee, "You surely cannot want to live. You're littler than me." Just then, with a malicious leer and a capacious smile, before him from the water deep there rose a crocodile. He eyed the little naughty boy, then heaved a blubbering sigh and said, "You cannot want to live. You're littler than I." The fishes squirm and wriggle still beside that sandy shore. The cruel little naughty boy was never heard of more. Here's another one about bubblegum. It's a short one. I Did a Bad Thing Once by Alan Alberg. I did a bad thing once. I took this money from my mother's purse for bubblegum. What made it worse, she bought me some for being good, while I'd been vice versa, so to speak. That made it worse. I think he felt guilty. The last one's called You'd Better Believe Him by Brian Patton. Listen carefully, it's quite a tricky one. He discovered an old rocking horse in Woolworths. He tried to feed it, but without much luck, so he stroked it. Had a long conversation about the trees it came from, the attics it had visited. Tried to take it out then, but the store detective, he called the store manager, who called the police, who in court next morning said, he acted strangely when arrested. His statement read simply, I believe in rocking horses. We have reason to believe him mad. Quite so, said the prosecution. Bring in the rocking horse as evidence. I'm afraid it's escaped, sir, said the store manager. Left a hoof print as evidence on the skull of the store detective. Oh, quite so, said the prosecution, fearful of the neighing out in the corridor.